Welcome to another episode of Hospitality Insider on Koni TV. I'm Koni Kim, and today's featured guest is Scott Rosenberg, a partner at Jonathan Nehmer and Associates, which is famous architecture company, and he's also a partner at the HVS Design, which is also great design company, does a lot of hospitality project in the United States and abroad. Hey Scott, thank you so much joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Would you please introduce yourself a little more about your background to the audience?
Trained as a architect. There's many of us in the industry. I actually always wanted to be a real estate developer, so I actually went back, worked for a real estate development company for many years, went back 10 years later, got a real estate degree, and so I actually like to understand, not that I draw lines and do pretty pictures, but that I know that they make sense, that I know they have investment value, and I know they have value to the future. So I'm always concerned about what's the market, what's right for the people, what's right for the guest. To me, it's the big picture, it's the whole story. So I really like to see it all come together.
Oh, great. So which company did you created first, Jonathan Nehmer or HVS?
I've known John Nehmer, who's been in the industry for many years. He was a Marriott executive and a Ramada executive before he went out 25 years. At the parallel same time, I actually, after my years in development, I actually had my own company, and I was doing restaurants and mixed-use design locally in the Mid-Atlantic region of US, and John and I had always spoke years and years, and I had a small company for probably 11 years. And John said to me about 7 or 8 years ago, he says, when are you going to give up that thing you call a practice of architecture and come into the business of architecture and really understand hospitality and, and take that next step? And so, so I broadened my hospitality background of just restaurants and moved fully, because I had done all the uses of a building. So to me, hotels are a mixed use in a building. And so I had the understanding of warehousing and office space and restaurants and meeting space and guest rooms, and I had done residences and multifamily and senior living. So for me, it's everything in a box, and that's why I love hospitality. It's just exciting, and it's never the same. So that's like 7
years ago. So you are located?
We're located outside of DC in Rockville, Maryland, and our work has taken us across the country, and occasionally we get some design work, across the world. And I've been to India, and we've done work in Korea and Ireland recently, and so it's just kind of fun. Master planning, down to the last detail of interior design. So it's really fun.
So do you specialize just the hospitality, or
we're primarily hospitality.
100%.
And that's what we do. I mean, that's what we're good at. That's what we know. Our other partner, Warren Feldman, also has construction background as well as hospitality for 20 years. John has 35 years of it. We have a 45-person staff. And really what makes us different than many firms, we're not too big, we're not too small. You get the partners are involved in everything. A third of our company is interior design, a third of our company is architecture, and a third of our company is project management. It's about budgets, schedules, and getting things done. And putting the right tool to the right thing, the right job to make sure things get done. And even if I'm not the project manager on the job, I can walk down the hall and say to one of my 20-year-old construction, specialists, hey, we want to do it this way, what do you think? And they says, you know what, you could try it 3 other ways, and maybe this will be less costly, or maybe this will get you better impact, and whatever it is, I have that expertise in-house.
Right there in the house.
Right there in-house. Whether the client asks for that or not, I have that if I want.
That's fantastic.
And we're okay to be an interior designer on a project. And I've been an interior designer with great architects. And then you think they're my competition, but they're really not. They're really my friends, because 3 weeks later, now I'm the architect and they're the interior designer. So it's like, it's a very close-knit neighborhood, and we really enjoy working with, as well as we like working with, if I can get them all, that's great. But I do like working with other companies, and we learn things from them.
That's wonderful.
So we love doing it. It's really fun.
So HVS Design is located same as
we're all the same, and I have a couple of remote people from time to time, depending on what we're doing. But I keep the designers and everything together, and we're right there, literally.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Director of design is literally right next to my office.
So you can brainstorm together.
Brainstorm, master plans. I'm a strategy guy. Because of the development side, I want to make sure all the pieces and the parts work. Right. So I'm thinking about operations. I'm thinking about, should this be here? And she can worry about the fabric. And I'm going to say, I'd love to look at the fabric, and I want to touch it, and I want to make sure it's good, and I want it's comfortable. But I know I have good experts that do this that are way better than I.
Yes.
So let them be good at what they're good at. And then I can be like, well, I'm better at, let's say, don't put the loading dock next to the front door. It's probably not a good idea. That's right. But you don't know. You get an urban site, maybe you have to.
Yes.
So, I'm more about how does it work, and why is it better if I do it something different, that maybe it just works a little better. And I want to see it succeed. That's what I'm about.
Yeah. Okay, Scott, with all that, thank you so much.
Yeah, that's great.
What is your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge? I think in any business, and especially in this industry, the economic cycle is really the hardest thing. Either you have too many people and we're not doing anything, and then you have the sad reality of what you have to do when that happens, and then all of a sudden the doors start knocking again, and now you got to make sure you're staffing it and manning it right. And what's really important though is you got to make sure you're still giving the attention, you don't overcommit, and if I do something, I'd rather underpromise and overdeliver.
That's right.
And so I really want to make sure that I have it staffed correctly, and that my clients are really going to get that attention that we really pride ourselves on.
Okay, hold that thought.
I will.
And when we come back with Scott Rosenberg, we're going to talk about what he's implementing today to be prepared for the future. Don't go away.
Hello, I'm Vanessa Cinders, Senior Vice President for Government Affairs at American Hotel and Lodging Association, and you're watching.
And you're watching.
And you're watching.
And you're watching.
You're watching Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
KoniTV.tv. Koni TV is the hospitality TV company, and we're very excited to be part of Koni TV.
Welcome back with Scott Rosenberg at Hospitality Insider. Scott, thank you so much for that wonderful story that you share. Now let's take a look at what do you do today that is differently than what you have done in the past?
Well, it's tough. I mean, if you do the same thing over and over again, it gets stale, and you're not going to stay on top of the world. And so we're constantly making sure that we're staying educated on stuff, whether it's sustainability, technology, all this kind of stuff, because it really is changing every day.
That's right.
And you need to really stay on top of that stuff.
That's right.
I think it's just getting out in the world and whether you're in an expo or education or whatever it is, that's really important. Keeping our staff trained is very important to us. Sustainability is important to us, and we just really want to make sure that we're really staying on the cusp of what's going on in the industry.
So now you're talking about sustainability. What have you done, or you see a change in the whole hospitality industry, and what is it that we are facing today?
Well, I mean, when I first got my lead AP as an example, it was like hospitality, sustainability was like, let's just do it because I could be the first of this and the first of that and the first of that, and I'll get some quick market influx to my hotel, and that'll be it.
Right.
And it's like, well, that's really not why you do sustainability.
Right.
And I'm not advocating whether you should register or you shouldn't register your project, but there are so many basic things that how could you not do? Spend a little bit extra money, do an energy management system. I mean, there's the amount of money you're going to save, and it doesn't matter if you're holding the building for 1 year, or you're going to hold it for 7, you're going to hold it forever.
That's right.
I mean, the value of the asset is worth so much more because your operating capital is so much less.
Yes.
You've reduced your operating expenses,
and
therefore you're increasing your net operating income. So how could you not do those kinds of things? It's very hard to say that I could buy a fabric that's sustainable and I could promise that my ADR is going to go up.
Yes.
That's harder to do.
Yeah.
So I'll let the brands and the designers and the owners decide if they want to do that. I don't want to force something on somebody if it doesn't make sense, because I have a developer in me, and I want to do it because it makes sense. Yes, if I could use a product and it's going to last, and I get a 10 or 7 or 14-year life out of a floor instead of having a carpet that's going to go in 7, because I thought to do a different material, or whether it's sustainable or just because it lasts better, I'm going to do it that. I might look at it that way. So those are the kinds of things that years ago you just said, well, it's a 7-year refresh, and we just do it in 7 years, and we do it 7 years again, and we do it in 7 years again. Now it's like you're thinking a little bit bigger, and I think the industry has gotten smarter, probably because of the recession. We're trying to learn from what we made mistakes on in the past, and we're growing to just be smarter about what we do, from picking the last material to why you do things.
It really become a mandated program rather than it's a habit that we have to create. And so what do you see the future of the trend? Then how would you handle this, what they call of the millennial? That of these millennials coming and spending a lot of money?
So I've been fortunate. I've been hired by 2 different brands separately. One of my partners is working on with one brand, and I'm working with another brand. We don't talk to each other because we want to make sure. Well, I want to make sure what he's doing with his brand is sacred to that brand, and what I'm doing with the brand I'm working on is, and we are. It's really they're both upscale select serve products, and it's geared to the millennial. Millennials want things now. They want a comfortable, how do you say, cup of coffee and a comfortable chair, and they want to get on their iPad, and they want to be able to order a glass of wine or whatever it is right from their iPad. Now the hotel has to staff that. They better make sure they got somebody in the kitchen ready to go, because wanting to have it now means you better be ready in the hotel.
That's right.
And if you want to check in at a computer, fine, but if you want hospitality, because I think the personal side of hospitality should never be lost. You should be able to go see a person and say, hey, thank you, welcome, thanks for staying at our hotel, and what can I do to help you? But if you want to go to a computer and do it too, or you want to do it on your phone, fine. You want to check in and use your phone to open your front door, great. You want to order a cup of coffee and room service on your phone, control your lights and open your drapes, fine. Technology and the millennials are working together, as long as we don't make it so impersonal and over tech for the sake of abandoning everybody else in the market.
That's right.
It's got to be.
There's a balance.
It's got to be a balance of where to use technology and where not to go crazy about it.
So I understand that the millennials use a lot of gadgets and for technology. However, they want to be together. So that is kind of interesting.
So you're on your. And my kids do this too, right? So the 3 of them will sit down and they'll all be texting, sharing images with each other.
But they want to be
together. And what they're doing is they really are interacting. But then they may actually have a conversation about something they're doing, even though you think they're being introverted. They are extroverted in their own way. The older generation sees it as, that they're introverted. I've had an experiment with my kids because we talk about no cell phones, no nothing when we go out to restaurants. So we tried an experiment. I said, let's all 5 of us text each other during the entire dinner and see if we can have a family conversation. We actually had more of a family conversation texting each other than actually if I was going to speak to the kids. So it was actually kind of a fun little exercise, and everybody was like, look at this family, nobody's talking to anybody. But I wanted to try it from a sociology experiment to see.
That's a really interesting factor, isn't it? But that's what's upcoming, and we cannot ignore it, and we just have to see how best we can make it. And that would be a great story.
But people still need people, and they want to be with people. They really do. Even if I'm doing something for 5 minutes, they could stop and say, hey, what are you doing later? Let's get a drink. Okay, let me go finish what I'm doing.
Hold that thought. When we come back, we're going to have a Scott to tell us about his success stories and what his future plan is. Thank you for watching Hospitality Insider. Don't go away.
This is Christine Shanahan with HVS Design, and you're watching Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.tv.
The first internet TV station for the hospitality industry.
Welcome back to Hospitality Insider with Scott Rosenberg. Scott, thank you so much for this wonderful story. Now share with us some of your great success stories.
Great success stories. It's you know, it's hard, and I'm not from go tell the world I'm a great yard. Just not my thing.
You're great. So
you know, one of my I have two favorite stories, and one, we just finished the Lowe's Regency in Manhattan for the Tisch family, who owns you know, the Lowe's, and that's their flagship hotel. It's a 50-year-old building, in 1962. It really hadn't had a detailed renovation in a really long time. $100 million. They shut the hotel. Imagine what it's like to shut a hotel with 350 rooms in Manhattan, and what you get per night on a room like this on Park Avenue and 61st
All that
Street.
revenue.
It's like, I don't know how he did it. And he did it, but it's like he didn't want to inconvenience the guests, he didn't want to do anything. But it was like, between the designers and the technology and the infrastructure that had to be done, we gutted the lobby, we put a new restaurant in, there's a beautiful spa that's being 10,000 square foot spa.
Wow.
He's got partners with Julian Farrell. The restaurant is just opened. But Mr. Tisch said to our team, I don't care about all the other work you've ever done for us, and you've done fine, and it's great. This is the only thing that matters. This is our, you know, it's been our family. It's a block away from our headquarters. Everybody in the company is going to be looking at this thing. But you better be open by the Super Bowl, because he also happens to own the New York Giants, and everybody, probably every one of his friends probably had to stay at the hotel. I don't want to speak for Mr. Tisch, but it's like, you know, you're not going to not open this hotel in time for the Super Bowl. And so, like, the budget, the schedule, the amount of infrastructure that we had to do, you know, getting that building up to date from, you know, whether it was internet and cable and HD and all the kinds of things. Because this is a boutique kind of a, even though they're a brand, each one is their own kind of a boutique. It's a timeless, elegant statement of Manhattan. It's the power breakfast of Manhattan. The Rudy Giuliani's and the, you know, of the world are at this breakfast every morning. You know, it's you know, this is an icon of Manhattan, and that thing had to be open, and it opened. We opened. We actually delivered the hotel towards the end of December, early January, and by January 16th they opened. I got to stay there with my wife 2 days later, and for me to get that hotel open on time was like, that was one of my greatest accomplishments. It was just something about that project that was wonderful. Even, I love seeing new buildings too, and I have some really great ones, and we've done some other things. You know, when you have to get ballrooms open in time for the inaugural ball, you know, in Washington, and you're working on 4 different ballrooms in Washington, and it's December, and you got to be open by December 31st so they can train and get ready for the inauguration. You can't move the inauguration. You can't move ski season. You can't move, you can't move the Super Bowl. So hospitality is something that's different than any other. If it's a retail store, so it opens a month later. If it's a restaurant, so it opens a month later. But a hotel has to open on time.
So from the day they closed, and you reopen, how many days did it take?
It was like a year and 2 weeks or something like that.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, we knew we were going to close on January 2nd of 2013. We were shooting for January 1st, and we got January 15th it opened. So it was fantastic.
You know, Scott, you have a lot of passion. I see that. So where does it come from?
I don't know.
It's just like
parents rejecting me. You know, you got to overachieve. I don't know, something like. I'm just kidding. But you know, look, you know, I'm a music guy. You know, I'm an artist wannabe. You know, I wish I was more of a designer than maybe, you know, some of the designers I work with are just so awesome that so I'm just inspired by the people I'm working with, and having a talented bunch of a team.
People around you.
It's the team. And so even though I'm out and I'm trying to get a job from the next developer, and I design and I do draw, and I'm still a sketch guy. I'm one of the last guys that sit down in a meeting with a trace paper. And it's like, well, let's try it this way. Let's try it this way. We're not going to solve it now. I go, yes, we are going to solve it now. It's like, at least, so now let me take the ideas back. And then I get with my team, and then I get the whole next level of what this thing can be.
That passion is from
And when I bring, you know, just bringing the owner's vision. It's not my vision. It's not my investment. It's not my hotel.
That's right.
You know, it's what the developer wants. But I understand that I get to be the interpreter of that vision.
Wonderful.
And that's why so it's fun. I feel like it becomes my vision, but I'm not such an ego that I need to say it's my vision. I don't really care. I care that they're getting the right
So if you have
that's
to
right for
say
them.
what makes you and your company different
Right.
than anybody else,
Right.
what would you say?
I just think that we have this expertise between operations side, construction, development, and all the other professionals in our company. We're small enough that we're a boutique kind of a firm that you get a really nice small group of crafted, tight-knit folks that really work well together. But we also have these three different disciplines, whether it's interior design, architectural, or project management, that you can have any one or two or three of these disciplines, but even if you don't get those disciplines, and I have a different interior designer or a different architect on the project, I can say, they want to do it this way, or the project manager would like to see it done this way. I can go down the hall and say, how would you guys attack this project?
Yes.
And I can be a proactive player on the team to say, doesn't this really serve and solve everything we want to do as a group, so that it's in the owner's best interest, it's in all of the team players. It's not an us and them, or three-sided, an interior designer versus an architect versus a project manager versus the brand versus it's get everybody together and we really say, you know what, this is what we really want to do together.
Find the best solutions.
And let's find a solution. But not just let's talk about finding here's three ways to do it. Now let's talk about why this is right and this is not right.
Okay, that is great. Now, I would like you to share your wisdom. If somebody wants to be just like you,
right?
What is the wisdom?
Run. Run. No, I'm just, no. Look, you know, when I told my parents I was going to be an architect, and they go, "You're not going to be a doctor. You're not going to be an attorney. You know, what are you doing? You're letting us down." You know, and that was my upbringing. But and I joke, and really what it comes down to is they knew this is what I wanted to do, and it really comes down to, you know, it's the book that says, do what you love and the rest will come. And I've just been pursuing doing this, and like from my small firm that basically built the partnership and my experience to join John, and to where now I have a larger firm that now I'm partners with. You know, I've always done, I know where I kind of wanted to go. I didn't say it was exactly charted perfectly, but I know where I want to go, and I just keep going. I may not get the exact goal, and you can't write all your goals and think you're going to get them today.
Right.
And my wife is teaching me the most important thing, and that is I'm starting to enjoy the journey.
Perfect.
I was always about the goal.
Perfect.
And I think for 20 or 30 years it was about the goal.
Yeah.
And now I think I've gotten to where, like, now I'm just going to enjoy the journey. And I know the projects are hard. But it's like this week, I'm just going to enjoy today, and I'm going to enjoy this week.
Smell the roses, right?
Yeah, I really am, and I'm enjoying the project, and I'm enjoying the conflict. And I'm enjoying. I don't care. I really just.
Perfect.
It's about the journey for me.
Yeah, enjoy that moment.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Scott. It was
and
wonderful.
Connie, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for watching Hospitality Insider with Scott Rosenberg. If you would like to know more about Scott, please go to KoniTV.tv.
I'm Scott Divert, and I work for Carlson Residor Hotel Group, and you're watching.
You are watching.
Thank you for watching Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
Koni TV.
The first ever internet TV station designed specifically for the hospitality industry. KoniTV.tv.